You're sitting in your own boardroom, watching your husband's entire family vote to remove you as CEO of what they think is his company. Their smug faces, the pre-planned speeches, the betrayal in your husband's eyes as his hand slowly rises to vote you out. But here's what they don't know. You've got a nuclear bomb of truth about to detonate, and it's going to destroy everything they believe about who really built this empire. I'm Sarah Chen, and this is the story of how I turned the tables on the family that tried to erase me from my own legacy. 3 weeks ago I noticed the signs. My husband Marcus started having mysterious lunch meetings with his father. Critical files vanished from my secured servers. Board meeting schedules changed without my input. Conversations died the moment I walked into rooms. After building a tech empire from nothing, you learn to read patterns like a survival skill. Then my loyal IT director, one of my original employees from the early days, accidentally received an email meant for Marcus's sister. It laid out their entire coup plan, the seating arrangement, the pre-written speeches, even the exact wording of the motion to remove me. They had 72 hours to prepare their attack. I had 72 hours to prepare my nuclear response. The motion before us is to remove Sarah Chen as CEO, announced Marcus's father, Richard, his voice cutting through the mahogany boardroom like a blade. This was the same conference table I'd bought from a liquidation sale 12 years ago when I couldn't afford proper office furniture. One by one, they delivered their rehearsed daggers. "She's just a housewife who got lucky when Marcus's startup took off," sneered his brother David, leaning back in his chair like he owned the place. "No offense, Sarah, but you don't even have an MBA. You were literally doing freelance coding when Marcus met you," added his sister Lisa, her manicured nails tapping the table with calculated precision. But instead of panic, a deadly calm washed over me. I reached for my phone and sent a pre-written text to my assistant. "Execute Operation Truth Bomb. All in favor of removing Sarah as CEO?" Richard asked with barely concealed glee. Hands shot up around the table. Marcus's went up last. Slowly, reluctantly, but it went up. My own husband voting to destroy me in front of his family. "Motion carries," Richard announced triumphantly. "Now I nominate Marcus as the new CEO of what should have always been a Hayes family company." That's when every phone in the room buzzed simultaneously. "What the hell is this?" David pulled out his phone, his cocky expression melting into confusion as he scrolled through the documents my assistant had just sent. I watched their faces transform from smugness to shock as they read the original company incorporation papers, patent filings, copyright documents, every single one bearing my maiden name. Sarah Chen, not Sarah Hayes. "I don't understand," Lisa stammered. "This says Quantum Solutions was founded in 2012, but you and Marcus didn't meet until 2019. "That's correct," I said, speaking for the first time since entering the room. "I founded Quantum Solutions 7 years before I met your son. 7 years before I became a Hayes. 7 years before I was dismissed as just a housewife who got lucky." Richard's face turned purple. But Marcus said. "Marcus said what?" I turned to my husband, who was studying the table like it contained the secrets of the universe. That it was his idea, his company, his breakthrough AI algorithm that's made us billions. The silence was deafening. I stood up and connected my laptop to the presentation screen. "Since we're having an official board meeting, let's discuss what really happened." The first slide showed a photo of me from 2012, 24 years old, surrounded by computer equipment in my tiny studio apartment, dark circles under my eyes from coding 18-hour days. 2012. Fresh out of Stanford with a computer science PhD. "Yes, Lisa, I do have a degree, just not in business. I'm working as a freelance developer and coding revolutionary AI compression algorithms at night." 2013 to 2018. Building quantum solutions from nothing. Every line of our core AI code. I wrote it. Every client pitch in those early days. Gave it. Every 20-hour day that built this empire. I worked it. The room was dead silent. 2019. I meet Marcus at a tech conference. Quantum is finally scaling. We have real employees, major clients. Marcus is charming, supportive. He believes in my vision. Or so I thought. More slides flashed by. Our wedding, Marcus joining as VP of Business Development, the Hayes family being introduced to investors as the founding family. What I didn't realize, I continued, my voice steady despite the hurricane inside, was that Marcus was slowly rewriting history. To his family, to investors, even to our new employees. He became the genius founder. I became the supportive wife who helped with the technical stuff. But you don't even work anymore, David protested. You're always at home with the kids. I smiled coldly. You mean the home office where I still architect our AI systems? The kids I raise while managing our remote development teams across 3 time zones. The home, where I take calls with our Tokyo partners at 2 a.m. I pulled up our company's code repository. For the non-technical family members, this shows who actually writes our software. Care to guess what percentage has my username? 84%. Paused for effect. Marcus's percentage? 0. He's never written a single line of production code. I handle business development, Marcus finally spoke. His usual confidence completely gone. Our Chief Operating Officer handles business development, I corrected. Our CFO handles finances. Our VP of Sales handles client relations. You have a title and a $300,000 salary for what amounts to playing golf with potential clients. Richard stood up red-faced. How dare you disrespect this family? How dare I? I laughed, but there was no warmth in it. You just attempted a hostile takeover of my company. The company that employs all of you, by the way. Richard, you're on our advisory board. David runs our Seattle office. Lisa heads our HR department. All nepotism hires to keep family peace. I clicked to the final slide. Our current ownership structure. Here's the thing about being the actual founder. I own 73% of Quantum Solutions. Marcus owns 12%. The rest of your shares combined. Percent. You literally cannot vote me out of my own company. Paige looked confused. Then why did you let us? Because I needed to know, I said quietly, looking directly at Marcus. I needed to see if my husband would stand by me or sacrifice me for his family's approval. You failed that test spectacularly. I pulled up one last document that made Richard's eyes widen with greed. This is a buyout offer from Tesla for $3.2 billion. I've been sitting on it for 8 months, trying to decide if I wanted to keep building or cash out. $3 billion. Richard's greed overtook his shock. We should definitely discuss Dash. We won't be discussing anything, I interrupted, because as of this moment, you're all fired. Security is waiting outside to escort you from the building. You can't fire family. David jumped up. You just tried to stage a coup against me, I pointed out. That's textbook grounds for termination. As security entered to escort them out, Marcus lingered. The kids. We'll have a mother who doesn't hide her achievements to protect male egos, I finished. That's worth more than a marriage built on lies. 6 months later, the divorce was finalized. Marcus got his 12% and walked away. I kept the company, the kids, and my integrity. The Tesla offer. I turned it down. Instead, I took Quantum Solutions public. Opening day valuation. $5.8 billion. Today, I'm on the cover of Forbes as the AI visionary who built an empire in the shadows. My daughter texted me, "Mom, I'm never going to let anyone take credit for my work." That Hayes family meeting was meant to diminish me. Instead, it freed me from their shadows forever. Sometimes the biggest threat to your empire isn't market competition. It's the people who claim to love you while plotting your downfall around your own conference table. But here's the thing about real founders. We don't just survive coup attempts. We use them to prove who really holds the power.